Well, Ben, you've been involved with the fishery here at Monkhall for a little bit over 4 years now. Well, the transformation I've seen in that time has been incredible, really.
Yeah, they've certainly got through a hell of a lot of work since we've been here. It's hard to believe that it is only 4 years, to be fair, when you look back from when we first came to how it is now. We're quite proud of it, to be honest.
I can see why you are. I mean, to get involved with a project of this sort of magnitude, of this sort of size, you've got to have a real passion for fishing yourself. And I think that's one thing that comes across from you and your dad. You absolutely love what you do, don't you?
We do, really enjoy it. And I think every fisherman has that picture in his mind. If I had my own fishery, this is how I'd do it. And it's great to have the chance to do that. You know, it's really good. I owe my parents a lot for helping us out to get to where we are. So.
Absolutely. I know your dad used to make the best breakfast I've ever had. When me and Matt used to come here doing features for the magazine, it was always stunning. And I must say the standard's not dropped. Do you think that's the key, Ben? Is it putting on the right facilities for anglers? Because obviously you offer obviously this food here in the cafe. You've got accommodation on site now. Is that the key? Would you say?
Yeah, it obviously it helps if the food's good and the prices are reasonable. Most people are happy. We may be looking at going down the route of putting evening meals on and refreshments of the evenings for the bed and breakfast to help that along a bit. So eventually, hopefully, that'll be busy too.
Just talk me through what you've got now in terms of facilities, because I know it has sort of steadily grown over the years, hasn't it, in terms of the number of people you can accommodate here.
Yeah, we've got the caravan park, which is a five-site CS site. We've got the bed and breakfast, it's a mixture of bed and breakfast. There's some twin rooms, some singles, some doubles. Obviously the fishing. I don't think we're going to go down the route of going any bigger regarding that, because it's enough sort of in proportion to what we've got site-wise.
Absolutely, and I suppose it's also a case of supply and demand, because I mean, for a small sort of club or a medium-sized club, the lakes are the perfect size, and really the facilities you've got here are enough to accommodate them, aren't they?
That's it, yeah. They all seem fairly happy, so we must be along the right lines.
I just want to focus a little bit on the lakes now. In terms of what you've done with them, really, you've certainly gone down the route of stocking a lot of F1s into the lakes, and I mean, you've seen the rewards of that, some massive match weights, plenty of bites right through the year for anglers. But do you think that, variety is something that you want more of, or are you happy with things as it is?
No, variety is important. We have some times here where the F1s don't feed and the weights hardly alter and it's all carp, and then all of a sudden you don't catch carp. You're having similar weights, but it's all F1, so it's good to have a good balance. We've put a lot of hide into the hawk. They're small at the moment, but obviously, as we all know, they're quite fast-growing fish, aren't they, and fantastic to catch. So, yeah, we have got a bit of a mixture going on, and I think there's a capacity that you can go to in a lake, isn't there, before it's too much and you can't keep them. So I think we're about right now.
One of the things I do like in terms of the variety you've got here as well is the different kinds of lake. I mean, all right, you've got 2 lakes where fishing across to the island really dominates. But other than that, you've got the hawk where you've got some gaps in the island, some rod and line work on there, isn't there? A lot of waggler fishing on there.
Yeah. And
also the owl at the bottom where you've got the bridge over, and that's quite different again, isn't it?
Yeah. They're all, you could say they're similar in terms of stocking, but they're all unique as well. They're all slightly different, and you fish each pool slightly differently. It keeps it a bit more interesting, doesn't it?
Listen, you're a top angler in your own right. I know you've done really well both at this venue and a lot of venues around the Midlands for a long time now. So if it's all right, for the benefit of those who are thinking of coming to the venue, we'll just run through the lakes. All right?
Yeah.
So we'll start right at the top lake. That's the Lark Pool. Yes. Your approach on there?
Varies time of year, and the main one is water temperature, isn't it? As you know, different water temperatures, the fish will want to be in different levels of water, but generally you'll fish over to the far bank, down the margins, and shallow down the middle. Okay,
and pellets or casters?
Whatever you prefer, really. I mean, a lot of the regulars use maggots and casters for fishing shallow, but some people can't really justify the price of taking 4 and 5 pints of bait, so they use pellets, and pellets are fine. They're £1.50 for a pint and a half, so it can make a cheap day's fishing.
Absolutely. I think, is it the Lark Pool that Frankie Garnicelli holds the match record off?
He does, yeah. £207 something it was in the last festival, wasn't it?
I know you've been close to that yourself a couple of times, haven't you, lately?
A couple of times, yeah, just can't quite get there.
Okay, so moving down the site slightly, we've got the hawk pool.
Yeah.
Just talk us through that one.
The hawk pool, there's a lot of carp in hawk pool, and they can make the difference between winning and not. There's loads of F1s which you can target shallow and down the margins, but the carp, they tend to be catching them at the minute on the deck at sort of 13 metres on hard pellets, and if you can sort the carp out, that's normally the match winning method on there.
Yeah, no, that is quite a special. Like some bigger fish in that one as well, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a lot of carp. There's no really big fish because it's the newest pool on site at the minute, so there's no doubles or anything like that. But there's a lot of sort of 3 to 5 pound fish, whereas the other pools they generally average sort of 2 to 4 pound.
Got you. Moving down again, we've got the swallow pool, which is quite similar to the lark in terms of appearance. Yeah,
it's canal type pool again. There's a hell of a lot of fish in that one. The clubs really like that one. Because it's the biggest one. It's just nice size for sort of 15 anglers. Over there, it's similar to the lark in terms of approach, shallow down the middle to the island and down the edges. But paste is also, times a year, paste is really good method.
Definitely. We mentioned before that the owl pool's a bit unique, isn't it? A lot of silverfishing owl and also some bigger F1s.
Yeah, it's more carp in owl than anything else, to be fair. And hard pellet and paste work very well on there.
Okay.
It's a cracking little pool, that.
And then we've also got a pleasure lake, which is just outside the cafe here.
Yeah, Kingfisher pool. Because of its size, it's normally the one that's left for pleasure because it's a bit small to get the clubs on. That's got a few more silvers in for when people bring the children to fish and whatnot. Lots of little tench, little crucians, little skimmers and roach. There's also a lot of carp and whatnot in there as well.
I've got to ask you, I had the drone up earlier taking some videos of these lakes, and I did notice that you've got a sneaky dugout at the back with another lake, so what's the plan for that one?
Yeah, that's, I'm not sure what we're going to do stocking wise, but that's going to be called Buzzard, that pool. That'll be ready for bookings, hopefully for 2019. We're not in any rush to get it open. That'll be a 16 peg pool. It'll be a bit different to the others. The others have got a stone track around them so you can push your trolleys to your pegs. This one we've put a bigger track so you'll be able to drive to your peg on this one. So we're feeling that one will be very popular. But we might go more down the carp and skimmer route in there rather than F1s everywhere and have a bit of a change. Right,
my final question, Ben. I mean, the way I see it, the fishery's now got everything. You've got great fishing, you've got accommodation, you've got facilities on site for a great breakfast, small sort of tackle shop where you sell bits of bait and things. What's the plan for the future?
We don't know is the honest answer. If we go any bigger, we'd have to go a lot bigger to warrant taking on extra staff and stuff like that. So that would mean making the calf bigger. It would mean more pools, maybe log cabins. We don't really know if we want to go down that big fishery route yet or just stay as we are. You know, everything runs nicely as it is.
Yes.
And you say if you push it a little more, then you might as well go the whole hog and go a lot more.
And I suppose it begs the question, why break a winning formula, doesn't it, I suppose?
Yeah. And anybody who's had anything to do with fisheries know early days are the hard days, so we'd have to go through all that again with stocking and, you know, starting up from scratch really for another half of the fishery. But no, we're not quite sure yet. Well, exciting times ahead, I think, whatever happens. So if people want to find out more information about the events here at Monkhall, because you do hold a lot of leagues, you also hold the October Festival, which I know Jordan and I will be coming on, so Jordan can try and defend his title. Yeah. Where should they look for more information? It's just www.monkhallfishery.co.uk. We're on Facebook too, so... That's Monkhall Fishery, just search that on Facebook, is it? Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Well, you're going to show us how it's done now and go and catch us a few F1s, I understand. Okay. Where are we heading today? Swallow Pool. Let's go and have a go, shall we? Super. Thank you. Okay, we're just going to quickly run through the bait. Fishery pellets first. We do keep 2 types of micros because of fishing the method feeder on Hawk Pool. So we do keep screttings as well as coppins. You don't have to buy them for the method, you can buy either you like. So just quickly to begin with, the coppins are the easiest ones to ruin. So you just flood them, give them a quick swirl and then drain them straight off. So do this while you're setting up. Once you've done that, you put them to one side, and every now and then you just keep running a wet hand through them to make sure they're all sinking. But they are very sticky. They're very good for putting in little nuggets. The next ones are the coppins, the screttins. And again, just flood them, give them a swirl. So there's just enough water to cover them, and leave those, and they'll just soak up lovely. They won't break down, they won't stick together. You'll fluff them back up and they'll be lovely. They melt out your pot very well, work very well on a method feeder. Hard pellet fishing. I love the Sonia Bates sinking pellet oil. Just give it a little slosh, not too much. Give them a spin round so they're all just glistening with a bit of that. You don't have to use this, you can use fish oil or sunflower oil, anything. But obviously hard pellets, you want to be using hard pellets rather than ones that have been softened or break down on the bottom. So that's those. Corn. A lot of people don't use corn for F1s, but it's a brilliant standout bait when you're fishing the margins or the far bank. It's very much like fishing a little method feeder. One day expanders can be better, another day corn will be better. It's just like method, as we say, with a blending and a standout bait. Maggots, that's my favourite bait for shallow fishing. You don't have to use maggots, you can use pellets or casters, whatever you prefer. I just prefer maggots, normally around 5 points. Then we just got a little pot of hard pellets that have had some oil put on them so they last longer. All different colours and shapes and sizes, but it's normally just a 6mm skretting with a bit of oil on so it's nice and dark. And that's the bait. Start by talking through the shallow rigs we're using today. They're all MH floats. The shallowest one is a dibber, set around 10 inches to a foot. Nice short line. The next one is sort of 14 to 16 inches. That's a little diamond float. Takes 3 number 10s. And the next one is the same, set a bit deeper. All with short lines. Some days you want a bit of a longer line, so just take one of the deeper ones and shallow it up a bit. The other shallow rig I've got set up is if we start fishing pellets and catching carp, slightly longer rig. They're not so keen to come under the pole as the F1s, so it's got a longer line above the float. Slightly heavier float for slapping, again 3-inch hook length. Edge rig, as we sort of spoke about earlier, very heavy float, that's a 0.4 of a gram, and 6 number 8s on top of a 3-inch hook length. 018 mainline, 012 hook length, that's a white map elastic. A little bit different for the pinging rig, what we call pinging. It's not necessarily pinging, we might be toss potting, but basically it's for hard pellets. It's a 4x12 float, again MH, and we've just got the bulk spread out a little bit on this one because the hard pellets, they do tend to watch them fall. That can be strung right out from halfway or kept tight down the bottom. Longer hook length on this, 5-inch hook length, again because of the watching the bait falling. There's a bit of weight in the hook bait too. Smaller hook on that, 18 hook, and just a hair rig band. Right, top kits. Short top kits, loads of people are doing them now. Almost all F1 anglers use them. They're fantastic. Short length of elastic, and they just feel right. You're playing the fish, give it one pull, and they'll pop up. If you do start catching carp, you just have to pull a bit more out, simple as that. Always like to have a little bit of elastic hanging out, so when you're catching quick, there's always something there to grab onto quick. Little connector, fan of the beads that everyone's using these days, and it is a little Guru, I think they're called speed stops or quick change beads with a little sheath of elastic. I prefer those because you can get the sheath of elastic and the knot all inside. They're a short top kit, these are Garbolino ones, they come grey. If they didn't, I would have sprayed them grey anyway. I do believe it makes a difference. Right, as we've started down the edge and it weren't the one, we're now going to try the hard pellet line, see if we can catch some carp on that. If we start experiencing liners and fish swirling, I think it's time to go shallow. Give it a quick go. So we've picked our far bank marker, and I know that we're on the end of the joint for where we want to be. So we're lining up with the marker now. Pick the rig up because it's already facing towards you, so if you pick it up it'll just fall into that slope. I can see fish on the surface already, so I think this is going to see us going on the shallow line very shortly. Yeah, getting liners. Pick the rig out, swing it back towards you, and then just do that again. Pick it up so it all falls back into the bank. Just the same head one on the drop then. So I'd say it's exactly the same as what you do down the edge. I think we might have a carp. Oh, it's a big F1. Nice F1 though. Won't moan about catching them. Hopefully there'll be plenty of them when we go shallow. Right, we just had a look shallow. Now we are on our own on here today, so we're going to have pretty much every silverfish in the lake in our peg. Nice big F1 though. And put up with the odd rod if you're catching one of them every other chuck. Right, because of the silvers, and I do think it sticks out a lot better when the fish are looking up, is putting a pellet on instead of a maggot. If there's no silvers, then I'll probably use a maggot, to be fair. So we're just feeding sort of 15-20 maggots and just slapping the pellet over it. This is the shortest rig I got set up. You notice the line's very short. We spoke about it earlier. Just helps with it in the bites. Pretty much they hook themselves. You know. Once you get back to a top kit, we'll feed again. And over the course of the session, I've picked up a reed there. Over the course of the session, you want to be cutting back when the peg's really rocking. There's a lot of fish in your peg. If you can cut back a bit, you catch them quicker. Big fish by the looks. You don't want to see the camera, this one. There you go. Not as big as we thought. It's certainly a reasonable fish. So, before we put the hook bait on, and feed again. Another pellet on. And you will, the more you do this type of fishing, you will get in a rhythm. And trying, if we can help it, not to feed while we've got the rig in the water for the first few seconds. A lot of silvers there as well. So if you can keep up that sort of routine, you'll have a really big weight. Beautiful little fish to finish the session on. We've ended up having a great day in the end. We swapped to pellet shallow and it was the answer. I think feeding maggots was wrong with the silverfish, but we've had a great day. If you want any more information on Monkhall Fishery, follow the link below.